Hello and welcome back to my series called Teach Me Something. Now today I have the very, very handsome and the man mountain, Mr. Corey Boutwell. How are you, mate?
Hey, bro, thanks for having me on the show, man. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, bro. All right, so first things first. In its simplest form, what do you do for a living?
First things first, simplest form, I transform men with personal development in its simplest, but our goals for helping people is to help them get their dream partner. Like that's the goal. It's like, but become the guy to attract your dream partner. Like that's our methodology. Because I'm like, you can use all the techniques, you can use all the skills, you can hustle, you can go out on the dates, whatever it is. But until
Mhm.
you become the person you need to become, you just don't attract the right one. Happened to me, happened to my head coaches, and we just see it happen in the community all the time. And it's like, well, if you want to attract the right partner, you gotta be chasing the business of your dreams, the passion of your dreams. You gotta be in great shape. Because if you want them in great shape, you gotta be in great shape.
Mm.
And you've got to like be extremely healthy and like quite conscious in your communication because you don't want someone who can't give you intimacy that you need. So you got to reflect that back. So it's like, well, become that. That person comes in, bang.
Yeah. So it's like writing the list of
Yeah,
what you want, what you need, and becoming that list.
pretty much that. So we got an online community for it, and then we do retreats. Like most of them are focused in Queensland, but we're probably going to expand this year. And they're probably
Oh, yeah.
the most transformational thing that we do. It's a lot of hardcore men's work for that reason, shame releases, anger releases, and a lot of empowerment. So that when men leave, they connect, network. We've had a few of the guys like build businesses together and they're just thriving. Everyone's just like using each other's businesses and their services because it's like, well, I know you better than I know my friends after that retreat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
keep going.
It's
So
interesting. It's
that's what
like, yeah, it's a good blend between trying to unleash men's suppressed inner masculinity, which they feel like is lost. Do you feel like there's been like quite a big trend over the past, say, like 5 years, say since COVID, with men trying to figure out who they are down to like their masculine core?
definitely. And I feel like we can see that because like women don't trust men as much. And I get my DMs blow up with women, where are the good men? Where are they at? My partner was like, I had no idea men like you and your friends, Corey, existed. Like I had
Mm,
no idea any of that even existed. And for us guys, especially living in the Western world, it's like like on the average scale, we've got it so good, so good. So what do we do with it? Well, we piss it up the wall. We watch porn. We play video games.
yeah.
We do like 4 or 5 different careers. Oh, which one am I going to fucking pick? And it's like, well, I want to pick all of them. And it's like, no, pick one. Sorry, you can't. Like, that's just people pleaser energy. And then most of the time we've been raised by our mothers instead of our fathers because our fathers are out working. So they didn't have the time and attention to give us. So we didn't go through any initiation ceremonies. We didn't know too much. So unfortunately, by most cases, and this is studied and stuff, men who are raised by their mothers are more people pleaser like,
Hmm.
because women try to make everything nice and loving and caring for everyone. And they need a strong men to come in and say no. And because we haven't experienced that, especially even with teachers growing up at school, it's like you get people pleasing men as teachers, you get a few that aren't, and then they get like shamed for being tough on the kids. And then
Mm.
like majority of the women loving and caring, which is like their role, supposed to do that. So then us as guys, this is my experience as well, where a little bit go with the flow, a little bit can't make a decision on something, a little
Mm.
bit like, well, why not me? And we play a victim a little bit. And then we think it's like it's okay until we get into a relationship, partner breaks up with us. We think it's okay until we hit 30 and go like, wow, this isn't what I've wanted to do with my career. Like I may have done good, I may have built something, but this isn't exactly what I want to do. Holy shit, I've got a passion. Gets to the point where it's like, oh, I want to have kids now. Fuck, I don't even know how to be a good partner. Like, all of these things come into our head, like, oh man, I've been in mediocre shape for like 5 years, and like panic starts
Yeah.
settling in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
remove them.
Do you think that a lot of men have settled for mediocrity because of this boss bitch sort of mentality that women have? Sort of, it's been like a trend over the past like couple of years where, the dial seems to be shifting. So one thing that I've found is men feel quite lost in
Mm.
that spectrum, right? I'm guessing you've seen that too, right?
Oh, big time. but I don't think so. I don't think like the women in the boss bitch era that they're in um, contributes to it. I feel like men haven't learnt the skills to deal with
Mm,
the intimidation of where it comes from. Because a strong man, if you put it into a real strong man's position and you just wear like, hey, what does a strong man think? What does he look like? What does he act? What does he do? All right, let's put myself into that guy's shoes. Would he give a shit? No. Right. Why does he give a shit? Because he's sensitive. Okay. Right. So
mm,
what's the difference between a guy who's in his absolute malfa and his masculinity and a guy that's sensitive around anything really? It's like, well, he's uncomfortable feeling emotions. All right. Why is he uncomfortable feeling emotions? Because his mum validated him all the time and his dad didn't say anything. Okay.
mm,
So how did that play out? What happens then if a man has that experience? Well, if he's used to getting validated all the time, where does he get it? Same thing. Porn, video games, drinking, whatever it is, being around friends that validate you, sleeping, trying to sleep with as many people as you can. And it's like, oh, Tinder, get a swipe on that one. Cool, validation, validation. He creates this addiction to validation, which means the second that he's not validated, he's not safe and things aren't okay. He meets a strong woman, doesn't validate him. What the fuck? I'm not in control. So he'll try to manipulate, he'll try to control. Men will become successful and get freaking Lambos, bro. They will get
mm.
Lambos just to prove a woman that he's enough. And then we'll get to the position where he's like, there was no fucking reason I even got that thing. I didn't even know who I am. I did this whole time in spite of some woman just to get approval for her, and I still need it. What the hell's wrong with me? And then we get
Yeah.
confused, and you'll see things like, it contributes to suicide stats. It's really, really fucking sad. And, it's a part of my mission to remove that because it was me, man. Like I was there in that people
Mm,
pleasing, cheated on, addicted to porn, like sex addiction, trying to like sleep with as many people as like that I could, and like feeling shame around it and having bad experiences, having good experiences too, and just like validate me, validate me, validate me, validate me. And like I was like, I don't like who I am in that way. So like
mm.
how can I sharpen the axe and sharpen the sword? And it's like, well, I need to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable emotions. I'm like I
Yeah.
can compete in bodybuilding shows. I can do controlled starvation for 6 months at a time and get into a state of how my body looks, which most men could only dream of achieving without any steroids or drugs, right? Without any steroids or drugs whatsoever. Extremely challenging. And I still got cheated on. I still needed approval. I still need to get validated.
Yeah.
Even in relationships, still need to get validated. Still catch myself for it now. But where I am to where I was is just completely shifted. And I feel as men, the unknown that we have is just what it feels like because we're uncomfortable with it and how to take responsibility for it. And most of the time, like just a quick hack, it's get around other strong men who are doing it
Yeah.
because you see they rub off on each other and they trigger each other in a way. And I just say to these guys as well, unfortunately, it's uncomfortable. Like feeling those emotions, it's gross, bro. It's sticky. It's gross.
Hmm.
It's not a nice feeling those emotions and having to swallow bitter truths. But Carl
Yeah.
Jung, Friedrich Nietzsche, Eric Neumann, all the great philosophers and psychologists say, you know, I ate my words and I found the diet nourishing. Right. So our
Hmm.
goal is to be able to try to, as men, the stronger the men you are, the bigger the pills you can swallow in the moment. You go, oh, they're right. That person's right. This girl's triggering me. I'm finding it hard to approach this woman. I'm gonna go and do it anyway. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And for Jordan Peterson, exposure therapy, you get exposed to that slightly and surely,
Mm.
overcome it, show up like a
Yeah.
stud. You start with it, you build the muscle. It just feels fantastic, man. And
Yeah.
then it applies to business, applies to how you show up everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's my
There's a lot to take away from just getting the reps in. And
yeah.
I've heard that quite a lot after doing like a lot of interviews with people. A lot of people just say exposure when it comes to men's work. So I had Big Trav on chatting to him, and he's great talking about inner work, shadow work, which a lot of these men really struggle with, and it's something that I personally have only just got into too, and it's just like it blows your mind, bro. Like peeling back the onion time and time and time again, like discovering more about yourself and who you are is for guys it can be quite like super daunting, but just gotta fucking do it, bro. Get it
Yeah.
done.
It is when people talk about the matrix, it's knowing you, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have all this uncomfortable stuff. You can have like a comfortable life like Neo's in the Matrix. You take the red pill, whatever it is, you go down and you get unplugged, and you're like, I'm this weak man who's got like nothing. I'm skinny. I'm in this world that I hate. There's no abundance here whatsoever. Like this is look at me. I'm gross. But when you
Mm,
know who you are, like from the course, like cool, you can start building yourself up. You can put in like in the Matrix, it's like he was putting in discs into his brain to learn martial arts. He's learning this, he's learning that. He's like learning all this stuff. He could build himself up into an absolute G, which
mm,
is what you can do. And what you notice is he started to take it away from the Matrix. Then there was
mm.
that one guy who I believe a lot of men lean into. That one guy that's like, I want to go back into the Matrix. Set me up with this. Who betrayed everyone. I forgot his name, and I feel like a lot of us guys when we hit, it's just even late 20s and early 30s and starting to get mid 30s, especially when you get those ages, that's when we start having the wake up. And then you got a choice. It's like, okay, are you going to go back because you've wasted 10 years and own that shit? Or are you going to try to pretend like everything's okay? Because what happened to the
Mm.
guy in the movie where he went to go back, he got killed. He betrayed everyone else. It's just a mask that he was living. It's going to feel like that. And you know that that's happening when your life just, you wake up and you go, oh, another day. And when you wake up
Yeah,
and it feels like that,
it's Groundhog
that is,
Day. Fuck
yeah,
that.
yeah, right. Exactly. And Groundhog Day is okay if you chose it. One of the best
Yeah.
philosophers in the world was Immanuel Kant. He did the same thing for like 20 years. He was like the king of routine. You wake up 2 hours, go for a walk, write for 2 hours, do something else, write for 2 hours, eat, go to bed. Like that, like that was his routine for like 20 years. And that's why he's such a powerful philosopher, because he just wrote so much and figured everything out. But he was on purpose, right? And
Mm.
if you only know that you're not on purpose when you're like, fuck, I'm doing the same thing again today. Oh, it's going to be the
Yeah.
same thing again. Oh, it's got to be the same thing again tomorrow. Uh-oh. How do I get out?
Yeah. It's when you start recognizing that you're in that. It's like taking a, you play video games and you're playing Call of Duty, right? And you're playing this first person view. It's like having the self-awareness to zoom out into that third person view and think, oh fuck, okay, this is what I'm thinking, but why am I thinking about that? So it's asking yourself why, and
Yeah.
then how do you get out of that? But like, for some people, it's so difficult. What's one thing that people could do or men could do to like pull themselves out into that self-awareness bubble?
That's a good question. I think quite simply, it's journaling. Like I
Mm,
really think asking yourself big questions. For me, it's always reading philosophy. That like helps so much. Like Friedrich Nietzsche's book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, but I don't really recommend it to too many people because it's old language and people find it fucking boring, dude. Like, look at this. Like, I can't understand or read any of this stuff, but for me, it just gets my gears going. Like, and I start looking. But there's a lot of exercises you can do, and I think one which is really awesome. Like, you can break down this on a piece of paper. This is a bit of Jordan Peterson influence. You break your life down into epochs, 5 to 8, 8 to 12, preschool, middle school, high school, whatever it is, all the way till now. And then you just write down all the negative things that happen in each one of those epochs and how they're affecting you now. And then you
mm,
ask yourself a question, all right, well, what does the best version of myself look like now? Right. And then you ask yourself that question and you go, okay, the difference between that person who did all those negative things and the best version of myself, what are just the daily things that that person does?
yeah,
Cool.
it's
Figure that
yeah,
out. Then ask yourself, all right, let's project. Let's go in the future. If you're 25, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, you just go all the way up to 50 as an exercise. And you write down on the list, okay, what does my life look like if I keep those habits every single day? And you go, wow, the problem seems so complex in my life. But these tiny little habits that I do during the day are so powerful. The exercise called Heaven and Hell. It's it's really powerful and it's a good way to zoom out because
yeah,
instead of thinking, what am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing next week? I've got Christmas end of the year. I've got this person's birthday. Easter's coming up. We've got these holidays. I've got this time off. It's like you're taking a zoom out picture. You're going all the way back, all the way forward. So it really helps you to
yeah.
put things in perspective.
Yeah, yeah. Try and get the narrative that you've been stuck in for that long and look into the habitual like macro
Yes.
of that,
Yeah.
right? All right, let's
Or
talk business.
I'll say that or an anger release because a lot of men, people pleasing, if they're people pleasing court, they're yes men, they're nice guys, they're Mr. Fix-Its. A lot of men have suppressed anger, man. They avoid, they don't say much, like anything else. Like if you can go to a rage release that's like professionally facilitated by some people who are amazing, like we do it
Yeah.
like at our retreats, but you can go if there's anyone that's good and you hear about one that's awesome, go to that. Even women, I recommend because that just goes you depending how many rounds you go around in an anger release, at one point you'll get around to doing it yourself and you'll go, fuck, I'm the core. You'll be angry at everyone else and express that anger, set that
Mhm.
intention, be angry at them. But then when you come down at one point, you be angry at yourself. And then you go, oh my God, I'm angry at myself for this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
And I'm not even actually that angry at everyone else. Like I'm predominantly angry at me. And that emotional experience, like in your body, is super powerful to lens to a lens to take out as well, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. Having that mirror shown up in front of your face and figuring out it's actually that's the cause of that anger, or you're just angry at yourself for doing, I don't know, whatever it may be. Yeah, having that mirror shown up, it's confronting.
Oh, it is confronting, but it's also fucking awesome. Such a high from
Fuck
that.
yeah. All right, business. So if you had to start your business all over again, what was the first three things? What would be the first three things that you do?
I can tell you one.
Go
I think it's
for
the most important. Just build your personal brand.
it. Okay. What does that look like to you?
So for me, it's pick a platform that you like best, pick one, and just learn everything about it.
Okay.
That's it. Like
Yeah.
everything about it. Follow the
Uh,
trends
mhm.
and take it seriously. Like it's pretty crazy, man. Like being even being a business owner for like a men's personal development company, we it's like you have to create like I was like you have to, but it's like it just takes up a lot of time. It's like you're creating courses, you're creating programs, like the for you sitting down, figuring it out, understanding worksheets, using technology, creating videos, writing down all the slides, everything that's going to help someone have a transformational experience, testing it with people, researching it, making sure it's actually backed off shit that you've done it and that it's been good for you so that you can speak on personal experience. And you're creating like an amazing program on this and filming everything while simultaneously you're making, if it's Instagram, for example, you're making two, three reels like per day or one reel per day, like a good quality one, like the same amount of time it takes for one good quality reel and three
Mhm.
reels that are good, but not like the most amount of quality is the same amount of time. You've got to, per week, you've got to script out a whole bunch. Then each day you got to post 10 to, 6 to 10 stories on average
Yeah.
per day. You've got to reply to like people in your DMs, like non-stop messaging people, get leads and clients. You've got to create webinars to get people to come. You have to have a back-end email system to work that makes sure
Yeah.
people actually get nurtured and notified. Then you have to learn the technology of how to run a community and the psychology of how to run a community if you're doing like community stuff. Most of these days it
Community
is
based.
some sort of community. So it's like, okay, so I'm creating that. I haven't even served my customers yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't even served them yet, and I've done all of this. So unless your content is like absolute fire and you've made it so well, you can serve your customers just by creating content, depending on a price point that
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
have. And for us, we do a lot of coaching because we find like for us working men, we want results. So for us, it's we get people to come for 6 months to 12 months because that's when the experience happens. We got two offers for that. Like it takes time for men to have a transformation. So within that time, you're talking to us every single week, like bang, bang, bang. So it's like a hardcore coaching. And we figured out a balance. Like I got people in my team and stuff that are crushing all of it. But if I was starting like, and then I run a podcast, so like, and I do a couple episodes a week, we put that on the back burner because I'm creating courses at the moment, and
Yeah.
when I'm not creating as many courses, I'm more focused on podcasts. It kind of goes
Mhm.
80-20 and swaps around. Um, so it's just like a lot of energy and effort going to creating content. And you've got to be on the ball and you've got to be organized. And that is what I'm speaking on is also like massive level. If you're starting out, you have a job, you got a part-time job, it's like, okay, let's break this down. One post a day, three stories a day, three podcasts a week. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like just stick to that. But whatever you're doing, you just want to focus on building your personal brand. Um, and building your personal brand is focusing on you, right? What
Mhm.
makes you special? What makes you awesome? Like, what about you? What are you documenting? What are you creating? What are you learning right now? How are you taking a step forward? How are you taking the leap? How are you taking a risk? How are you doing something other people want to do? Because you only need to be one step ahead of people to be able to mentor them, teach them, or coach them. So, like,
Yeah.
what are you actually doing and document it? If you're scared, good, do it. If you're scared and you're not doing it, then you're not qualified to help people. So you have to do
Yeah.
the thing and you have to document it. You have to be the person that's out there. You got to be the person that's investing into um, people like just like software or apps that help. You got to
Yeah.
invest into people that have cameras and things. So it's like instead of taking your money investing in a house, instead of taking your money and investing it in stocks, instead of taking your money and
Yeah.
putting it in crypto, you're putting it into
Invest in
you,
you. Yeah.
which is awesome. And then like obviously you want to collect emails because that's the only thing that you really control because other platforms can shut you down anytime or kick you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything
It's fair.
which can happen, but that's what it is. And starting a personal brand, I think, is one of the best personal development things that you can possibly do.
Yeah.
And you got to get out there and start
Just do it.
creating really awesome dynamic content. Yeah,
Mm.
but it's taking it to the next level. It's like how creative can you get? Because content in this day is so good. Like people are
Yeah.
so creative. Even
Yeah.
in comparison, I fall into the trap of comparison. I'll look at, I'm just like, I'm just getting proud of people now. I'm like, man, your content is so good. Like, this is insane. And I look at mine and I'm like, all right, there's definitely ways that I need to own about myself at the
Mm.
moment so that I can bring more fun, that I can bring more energy. Because sometimes I look at my own content like, but that's fucking stale there. That didn't
Yeah.
really hit. It doesn't make sense. Or this thing's here. So you're consistently trying to get good at it. So you're like a content creator, a business coach, content creator, a CEO, and a coach
Yeah.
all in one.
So
If,
multifaceted.
yeah, if you're doing like personal development, a little
Yeah.
bit different if you're doing like a different job. But I also believe even in personal brand, I had a bricklayer come and work with us, and he's just purchased a motocross track in Bali. We focused
Sick.
on his personal brand. We run, yeah, he worked with us for a while, and it's like that was his purpose, and he's fucking living it, man. It's insane. Um, and we got him because he did some one-on-one coaching with me. I'm like, all right, we gotta build your personal brand. Let's hit a webinar, right? Let's hit a masterclass, get everyone that you can to come. He got everyone that he can to come. Pro riders registered. The owners of companies and brands like Unit and these all these other people registered and got on. Not all of them came, but they still
Mm.
registered, which is the whole goal of it. And now he's sponsored. He's got the best riders coming to ride at the park. He has all these contacts and networks coming because they're just obsessed. They're like, Bali's the best idea to have one.
That's
Recreating
sick.
stuff. It's insane, dude. And it's all because he took some action on his
Mm.
personal. Plus, if you're a guy who wants to like attract a dream partner and you also want to re-attract, like you might be in a relationship and you're like, fuck, I need like this relationship is dead at the moment. Like it's dusty as hell and there's no love or
Yeah.
intimacy. And build up your social media because regardless of who you are in a relationship, if you've got a good social media, your status is higher, right? Your status is legitimately higher. So what you're doing on social media matters because there's value and people can see it. People of the opposite sex can see it. And if you're gay, people
Hmm.
of the same sex can see it. Right? They're looking at your
Hmm.
stuff. You're more desirable. So it's like, well, do you want to be with someone who's more desirable? Yes, but at what cost? It's going to be a bit scary because they have more people chasing them, right? But if you're confident enough and studly enough and you're on purpose, then you don't care. Like you're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm starting my social media is good. Just because you've got 7 million followers and I've got 6,000,
Yeah.
like I'm still showing up on social media and I have people who would be interested in me if I was single, right? Now that's not to say that in a negative or a toxic way. It's just to
Yeah.
say like logically and rationally, you've got options, right? And you've got options because you've been putting it in the work and you've got status. And
Yeah.
it's just the way the world works. And I'd rather be someone who's building up my personal brand and have opportunity rather than not.
Yeah. No, I get you. I understand where you come from for sure. All right, I'll finish on this last question, right? Do you
Yeah.
feel like it's difficult to live up to your online persona but in private?
For me, no. I'm pretty much I'm pretty much what you're gonna get online is the same in for me for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool, man. I've asked a lot of coaches and business owners, and I've had such a mix of answers.
It
Such
would
a
no, I don't
mix.
think oh yeah, I'm 100% like myself. You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
people I love getting the compliment. People say like, oh, you're exactly who I thought you were gonna be. And
Yeah.
most people say they say this when they watch my content and they say this in real life. They'll go, I watched your content. I hated you when I first watching your content. Uh, it was triggering. You come off like egotistical, you're cocky, and come across like a dick. And I was like, fuck this guy. And then I started watching you, and I was like, he does make some good points though. And then I was kind
Yeah.
of watching to pay you out. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe he's got some shit. And then they come and they're like, all right, let's go, bro. And I'm like,
Yeah,
nice.
sick.
Same, same thing that happens in person. They go, Corey, bit of a dick when I first met you, but now I get to like to know you, bro. Like I love you, and I'm like, I love you too. I got a big heart, but I'm also like, I've got good boundaries for me. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, where do I like kind of have this person? Because my life's awesome, right? My life's awesome. My friends are awesome. Everything's great. So if I let someone in, like I don't want to
Mm.
be their friend straight away. I'm like, sorry, I don't want to be your best friend straight away. But
Yeah.
I'm excited as hell to get to know you. Like, let's talk, let's chat. We'll see if things gel. Like, let's hang out because I want to meet amazing people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like that. I like that part about myself, and I think it sort of shows, and I feel like I respect people who are like that. But every single person that is when I'm talking to them, I give them all my presence and
Mm.
like all of my energy when I'm talking to someone, always.
Yeah. I think that's a good measure of masculinity too. When you stand and you give presence to whoever you're speaking to, no matter who it is. I think it's cool.
And it's hard though. I mean, I'm
Is
not saying it's like an easy task because we forget. It's like, well, it's not like it's hard or easy. It's just a conscious choice. There's something to be aware of.
yeah.
Sometimes I find myself disassociating,
Yeah.
and when you dissociate, it's like I only figured out what disassociation was like the past couple of months, by the way. And it's sort of just
Mm.
when you
Yeah, you're
goes a little
like
bit.
your eye contact is like off.
Yeah. Or even you could have full eye contact, but just fully thinking about something else.
Mm,
Right.
yeah,
And
you're like, oh, what am I going to say next? Or what am I going
yeah,
to
what is this? Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
What is that?
What does this person think of me? What am I going to say next? Yeah. All of the above.
Yeah.
And when I notice that happening, sometimes I just, to get back in my body, I just kind of take a breath in and smile.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, I'm smiling as if you have them chatting to you, and if I smile in front of you, bro, see that Jimmy knows I'm smiling. You're like, oh, you're trying to get back in your body right now.
Yeah. I'm going to call you
Yeah.
out for your bullshit. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, well,
All
you
right.
probably know, bro.
All right. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you jumping on. And where can people find you to check out all your stuff?
Yeah, just head to my Instagram. It's Corey Boutwell, CoreyBoutwell. And then I have a podcast called The Corey Boutwell Podcast. It just has a the in front of the Corey Boutwell Podcast. Those are both places you can find us.
Sick,
Thanks so much
brother.
for having me.
Appreciate you, bro.
You gonna be at the gym tomorrow?
Hell fucking yeah.
See you in the gym, baby. Let's go.
Save us.